Sqilah. Enhancing Careers. Chapter 3. Types of Journeys. Journey Concept. The fare calculation formula is influenced largely by the type of journey being traveled, i.e., you identify the journey and then match with the correct fare construction formula based on the places of sale and ticket issue. This approach to fare construction is called the journey concept. Pricing unit concept. On the other hand, under the pricing unit concept, a journey may be calculated as a single pricing unit or a string of pricing units. The lowest of the resulting fares is then charged. Hence, before slicing and dicing the itinerary at common points to form a mixture of sub-journeys, it is necessary to first learn how to calculate the journey as one pricing unit. It is important to have a good grasp of the meaning of terms commonly used in the context of airfare calculations and ticketing in order to understand the fare construction's rules. The first step to consider while calculating the airfare is to identify the kind of journey a client is planning to go on. A journey consists of the entire routing included on ticket or group of conjunction tickets and is composed of the following ticketed points. Journey. This consists of the entire routing included on a ticket or group of conjunction tickets. A journey is composed of the following ticketed points. Origin. The initial starting point and the first ticketed point. It is also known as fare construction point. E.g. in BOM NYC, BOM is the origin. Destination. The ultimate stopping place of the journey. It is also considered as fare break point or fare. In the above example, NYC is destination. Intermediate points. Intermediate stopover point. A point where passenger arrives and departs later than 24 hours is called as stopover point. Example as shown in table is a journey from Dubai to New York via Frankfurt. Here, DXB is origin, NYC is destination, and FRA is intermediate point, as passenger is staying for more than 24 hours at FRA. Intermediate no stopover point. A point where passenger arrives and departs within 24 hours is called as transfer or connecting point. NO stopover point is represented by X/. Example as shown in table is a journey from Mumbai, BOM, to Sydney, SYD, via Singapore, which is no stopover point and denoted by X/. Here Mumbai, BOM, is the origin and Sydney, SYD, is the destination and Singapore is NO stopover point. Note, transfer points are not the same as transit points. Unlike transfer points, transit points do not always involve a change of planes. Counting number of transfers and stopovers. Because of the importance of stopover points, transfer and non-stopover points in constructing a fare, please review the following definitions. Stopover. A stopover takes place when a passenger arrives at an intermediate point and is scheduled to depart later than 24 hours after arrival, local time. Non-stopover or connection. A non-stopover or connection point takes place when a passenger arrives at an intermediate point and departs not later than 24 hours after arrival, local time. Transfer. A transfer point is any intermediate point within a fare component that may be considered a stopover or a non-stopover point. The following guideline will show you how to count the number of transfers and stopovers in a journey. For one-way fare components, count all the intermediate point with a stop of more than 23 hours as a stopover. To count the number of transfers in a one-way fare component, include all intermediate points as transfer points. This includes all stopovers and connecting points. Do not include the fare construction points such as the origin and the destination when counting stopovers and transfers. In the case of return trips, do not count the stopover at the point of turnaround. 1. Routing. One-way JNB, HRE, X/SAN, SYD, AKL. Number of transfers. 3. Numbers of stopovers. 2. 2. Routing. Return. JNB, HRE, X/SAN, SYD, BKK JNB. Point of turnaround. SYD. Number of transfers for entire journey. 3. Number of stopovers for entire journey. 2. Number of stopovers in first component. 1. Number of stopovers in second component. 1. Fare component. A components or a portion of the itinerary between two consecutive fare construction points, thus a journey may have one or more fare components. Pricing unit. A journey or part of a journey which is priced as a separate entity, that is capable of being ticketed separately. Sectors. A portion of the journey comprised of legs or segments, mostly used in reference to fare construction. The usually involves a pair of points. In the following itinerary there are 4 sectors. LAX, NYC, ROM, DXB, BOM. The journeys can be categorized as one-way, OW, return trip, RT, circle trip, CT, open jaw, OJ, round the world, RTW. The figure shows the different trip types. One-way trip, OW. One-way, abbreviated as OW, is when the traveler just goes from origin to destination. In a one-way journey the origin and destination are never the same. A one-way journey is travel using one-way, OW, fare and possessing the following features. The origin and the final destination are in different countries. There are certain checks that apply only to OW trips such as the backhaul check, BHC, and one-way sub-journey check, OSC. Fares are calculated in the actual direction of travel. Examples. 1. This journey consists of one fare component or pricing unit PAR to RIO. Calculate the fare in the direction of travel, that is, PAR to RIO. 2. This one-way routing is composed of 2 fare components or 2 OW pricing units. The first is in the direction of SIN to MNL and the second is in the direction of MNL to CMB. Round trip, RT. Round trip or RT is when the traveler starts from one point and comes back to the same point using the same route, is called as round trip journey, e.g. JFK LONDLLON JFK. A round trip, RT, is travel entirely by air from a point to another point and return to the original point. It has 2 fare components of equal fares. Round trips typically have 2 fare components, i.e. outbound and inbound components. The outbound fare is equal to the inbound fare component. The unit origin and unit destination points are the same. For a journey with a single pricing unit, the COC, country of commencement, is also the same as destination country. The outbound fare may be differ from the inbound fare caused by a. Carrier variations, b. Seasonality variations, C. Class of service variations. D. Midweek or weekend variations. Although the routing outbound and inbound is the same, the fares differ due to level of variations. This will be still considered as a round trip as the routing outbound and inbound is the same. Fare component 1. BOM, LON 1/2 RTN UPC 1875.56. 2. BOM, LON 1/2 RTN UPC 1875.56. Round trip exceptions. The outbound fare may be different from the inbound fare caused by carrier variations, seasonality variations, class of service variations, midweek or weekend variations. Although the routing outbound and inbound is the same, the fares differ due to level of variations. You will still consider this as a round trip as the routing outbound and inbound is the same. Circle trip, CT. In this trip, the traveler starts from one location, goes to multiple locations and comes back at same location where he started. Example, JFK, LON, DEL, JFK. A circle trip, CT, involves travel from a point and return there by a continuous, circuitous air route, including journeys comprising two fare components but which do not meet the conditions of the round-trip definition. The origin and final destination of a CT are the same but the outbound and inbound fares are not equal. The circle trip minimum check, CTM, also applies to a CT. The CTM or the minimum fare to be charged on a RT journey is the highest direct normal return fare from the point of origin to any intermediate stopover point on the entire routing. Component 1, BOM, FRA, LON, LIS. The fare in the directions of Mumbai to Lisbon. Component 2, BOM, AMS, LIS. The fare is the direction of BOM to LIS as any component that ends in the COC follows the reverse direction of travel. Circle trips may have two or more fare components unless used for special fares. CT, special fares may only have two international fare components. For components that end in the country of origin, use the fares in the reverse direction of travel. However, for those components between Canada and the USA and components within Scandinavia, assess fares in the direction of travel. The circle trip minimum check, CTM, also applies to a CT. The CTM or the minimum fare to be charged on a RT journey is the highest direct normal return fare from the point of origin to any intermediate stopover point on the entire routing. Open jaw, OJ. An open jaw is defined as, when you travel to one city and return from another. This happens when the traveler goes from one place to another by air, from there, goes to a third place by other means of travel, and then takes a flight back to where he started. E.g., a holidaymaker might fly from London to Paris, spend some time touring France, and return directly to London from Nice. He flies into one city in the country, but depart from another. The travel between the 2 points/cities and the country is by means other than air. Open jaw journeys may have different variants such as. If traveling at normal fares, this would be abbreviated as NOJ. If the journey is with normal fares, it may also be referred to as a turnaround normal fare open jaw, TNOJ, where your destination could also be referred to as your point of turnaround. Open jaw journeys, OJ, may have only two international fare components and may contain domestic surface sectors. Such journeys use 1/2 RT fares as specified by the special fare rule. The following are typo J. 1. Single open jaw, SOJ. Contains one surface sector. A. Turnaround single open jaw, TSOJ. The outward point of arrival and the inward point of departure are different. Example, LON, DELBOM, LON. B. Origin open jaw, OSOJ. The outward point of departure and the inward point of arrival are different. Example SYS, SIN, BNE. The open sector can also be in the country of destination. The following example is an open jaw that occurs at the destination. Example, you are traveling from London Heathrow to Sydney, Australia, SYD, outbound. You decide to take a train from Sydney to Brisbane and then return to London, inbound. The train trip from Sydney to Brisbane is referred to as a surface sector. 2. Double open jaw, DOJ. Journeys can also have open sectors at both the origin and the turnaround. A journey outward from London to Sydney, returning from Brisbane to Manchester, would be a double open jaw, DOJ. Another example of DOJ is LON, BOM, DELMAN. If the fare is a special fare, the abbreviation would be OJ. When you have an open jaw at either the origin or destination, you have a single open jaw, SOJ. When the open sector is in the country of origin, for example, a client might be in London, fly from there to Paris, outbound, and return directly from Paris but to Manchester, inbound. This is still an open jaw, but may also be called an origin open jaw, OOJ, or origin normal open jaw, ONOJ. Round the world journey. Round the world journeys are circle trips when travel is continuous eastbound or westbound with only one crossing of the Atlantic and one crossing of the Pacific Ocean, commencing and returning to the same point. The journey should cover points in IATA areas 1, 2 and 3. Example, JFK, SYD, HKG, DEL, LON, JFK. When a fare component terminates in the country of origin, use the fare applicable from the country of origin. One COC rule applies, meaning Scandinavia shall be considered as one country. Also Canada and the USA shall be considered as one country.